What's up, Call of Duty fans? IHOLDSHIFT back with another replay broadcast coming at you. This one was, obviously, as you see it, we've got Red Reserve, we've got UYU. This was the final match of pool play for both of these teams who were sitting at an 0-2 scoreline after the first day, which was a huge surprise considering that Red Reserve was, in a lot of people's minds, potentially a favorite in UYU and came out of the play-in bracket a little bit more unexpectedly, as they were not, I would not say that they were not looking like a top 4 team based on their 2K performances beforehand. This one would be a good one, though, and a very important one because you don't want to go 0-3 in your pool play. So that's what they're fighting for. Let's dig in and take a look. Red Reserve taking on UYU. Coming right at you. All right, so here we are, Red Reserve taking on UYU, and we weren't sure what to expect from UYU at the beginning of the weekend, thinking that they might not even make it through play-ins, and all of a sudden, they're in a position to move up very favorably in their pool. Concussions start to go out towards the first hard point, and it looks like the kills will actually go the way of Red Reserve as they are able to find themselves a 3-for-1 trade, and with that come numbers on the point. Red Reserve will clean up the rest of the scrap and start to get themselves some nice control over the U point. Although Nova with these very nicely placed long-range shots hitting the upper window. He will be able to find one more near the point, but Rated will trade away, although UYU coming back will try to get themselves a little bit of point capture. Although they have to run their way onto the point, will be contested for a small moment. Zero here, but he's facing 3 white jerseys, at least on our perspective, and that will go the way of UYU. So with 17 seconds left, the play-in North American squad will find themselves what look to be control over this first hard point, and what will likely, actually not likely, as Zero comes through, and UYU is already rotated for the next point. At least they want to try to hold down as Red Reserve did hit it. Nova from the backside will pinch forward and get the last couple of seconds, but 25-15 after the first point. And now Red Reserve do hold the favorable spawns going into this lights hard point. Nova in a good spot to potentially trade away a couple, but will only find one. Fortunately, he's got some teammates there to help support that, but it looks like that will be enough. The damage has been dealt, as it will just be Joe left on that spawn, and UYU has successfully shrugged off Red Reserve from the favorable spawn and taken it over for themselves. But now Mayhem in a little bit of trouble as he is concussed, but he's dancing around very nicely, and Raid's having a hard time. He got no tac mask for Mayhem, so he had some trouble getting out of the stun lock that the concussion brought. Doesn't make much of a difference, though. UYU will now even up the score line, and just as they do so, Red Reserve will start to get a couple of trades, but not before Mayhem can come through. And with 12 seconds left, we start to look for that next rotation. Again, it'll be the upper platform area across the way from where Skies and UYU are. Spoof is in his position to pinch, though, has found one. Wants to try to find a second. Will jump the window for it, and will grab it. Now we have a situation where UYU can contest with numbers. Again, they do not have the favorable spawn for the initial capture of this point, but in a position to contest, although Zero will get backhanded, or will, pardon me, will backhand Spoof. And now Red Reserve holding some control, giving themselves a little separation in the lead department, getting to above 10. And Scraps, the double kill elsewhere on the map, has found himself, again, numbers on point for Red Reserve. We're still desperately trying to hold on to this spawn control, but Nova, and it looks like 2 others from UYU are trying to move around the left-hand elbow. Finally, Zero comes over to help, but Sky's at range. Goodness, not able to find it. Bance and the Maddox will say, all right, enough of this SOG-on-SOG battle. Let me just go ahead and put this one away. It looks like it'd be a full hold for Red Reserve. 15 seconds left. It will be contested. But again, UYU have to be very careful about how they approach this scrap time, because they could get a spawn flip completely, and it would be great to see them starting to rotate, but they will get a little bit of capture. A little bit of scrap time, putting this to 44-75, and they will be the first ones on point, but Banson, Scraps, and the rest of the Red Reserve gang are coming underneath and looking for a way to contest this very early on. Proto. A little bit of trouble. The trophy system is down for what looks to be Red Reserve, I believe. Hard to tell. Mayhem, though, will find 3 and a teammate. And that will do well for UYU to grab some numbers and start to play a little bit more aggressively underneath these pipes. Zero, the last player for Red Reserve, contesting this tight angle, and looks like Mayhem does want a challenge, but does he not hear the grapple? I guess he did not. Zero grappled over, and that was enough to give Raiden some space, and now all of a sudden, Red Reserve on the back end of that play won't be able to put themselves back in control of the scoreboard. But not only that, they also get this hard point, and it looks like UYU is starting to set themselves up for an aggressive take, potentially of our second rotation, but Bance has found himself 2 kills. And with Rated coming up in support, it looks like Red Reserve will extend their lead to about 100 before we get to our second rotation. Oh, nice little crouch peek there for Rated. A little bit of pre-fire spam, won't be able to connect, and Spoof will actually do the same thing to him. sliding under, and UYU will actually find control first of our second rotation. They've also popped the TAC 5. Spoof also using the grab slam to again gain some space. Will do so successfully. Red Reserve not going away just as of yet. Skies eventually has to get involved, and looks like he will, but I don't know if I like this timing. He'll contest for a small moment, but then immediately take it down. I wish he would have waited for just another second, as Mayhem has now pulled out the War Machine. The grab slam came down for 0, but didn't find much. And now Band's also with the War Machine of his own will actually find one more kill, so a little bit more value than Nova, or pardon, than Mayhem did. And that will account for the spawns coming through for Red Reserve and get themselves back on point for what will again be a pretty significant lead. Putting them at to about 115 before this starts to move. If they do try to soak all of it up, it looks like no, not yet. Red Reserve, they want to push through and find the spawn control. Trophy system used. 0 will prone up on a corner, but Mayhem will not be fooled. So UYU will control the point. Red Reserve trying to finesse their way around the outside of it as much as possible, but no, not on Nova's watch. Joe wanted to give it a go. His teammates will come forward, and Vance will only be able to trade away 1 for his life, which is not high value. So now UYU getting closer to that 100 mark. And it looks like Joe and one other, looks like Rated, want to push forward through the window, and they'll be able to get there and only find 1. TAC 5 being popped, but not enough to keep Joe alive. As Proto was right in his face, Red Reserve having a tough time breaking. A couple different looks on the hits have resulted in a little bit of wiggle from UYU, but not a full break. And with 13 seconds left, looks like UYU will eventually secede control of this, or maybe not, as they don't seem to want to go away just yet. Although they are spawning close to it, so if you want to get to the next point, you have to break this one. And the beatdown from Raiden, he'll be able to find himself too, which will slow down UYU's push, but will they hold on to spawns? They should. And it looks like UYU will eventually get Spoof to spawn out a little bit closer to their elbow, but Red Reserve in very strong control, although, oh my goodness, UYU has been so good on the rotate. Look at this. 3 players circling around, and that should flip the spawns, and it will. Rated now in control of the point, needs to find a way to sustain himself, but won't be able to do it. At least not in time for his teammates to rotate in, which they will jump the window and come back onto the blue platform. Now trying to peek. 2 players here. One proned up, though, is Proto. He's able to find himself, too, so UYU putting up a pretty sturdy hold here. Will get themselves within 14, and after this point, it will be just about even. Although Mayhem will not be able to win the second trade against Joe. Proto, fortunately, is there to sub out his teammate's life, and now we start to look towards that lower platform. Scrap setting up aggressively. He needs to find the second. Won't be able to do it. It will be turned aside by UYU. Red Reserve in control of the point after that aggressive zone from Scraps, who is now spawning a little bit further out than I think he wants, but we'll be able to hold down this jump platform, and we'll find 1 elimination in his name. And now Red Reserve will turn around and realize that UYU is spawning opposite of where they were just previously contesting. It looks like there is going to be Skies pulling out that Tempest. Have not found anything yet. War Machine also being utilized by Vance by the looks of it. Mayhem not quite there to his second. Scraps does have a couple of kill streaks on hand. This Lightning Strike will be pinged, but not fully realized. And Vance will actually be able to trade away his life for what looked to be 4 kills, so very much worth it. And Red Reserve will, again, increase their lead to 170 plus. And what do you do if you're UYU? You almost have another TAC 5 up. Spoof and Mayhem, the next 2 closest to their special squad, but we're starting to get down towards a little bit of desperate times. Now the Lightning Strike from Scraps will come out, trying to find some people on the rotate, but won't be able to do it. UYU actually finding a lot of trade kills over the middle, which will give them control of this 3rd rotation. At least initially. TAC 5 being used to try to hold this one down. Long range shots, very nicely played by Nova, but won't be able to finish off Scraps, who does get full HP. Wants to recontest it. Mayhem, meanwhile, on the point has found 2, and Nova, good correction there to find a 3rd. Will try to get himself on in, but Scraps too good. Won't let that go through. Spoof, though, will jump peek it with a SOG. Another trophy system for UYU starting to have some play here as Joe tried to throw what looked to be a concussion out. It didn't work. Proto and 0 fighting in the back line will be won by 0. Nova wants to find a way to empty out what will be the next point. He will be on cleanup control, and UYU has put themselves within 30. Pardon me? How about 40? Math is hard. No grab yet for Spoof, and goodness did he wish he had one right here, as there are 3 players from Red Reserve pushing through the elbow. Tempest being popped, this time by Scraps, who will not find anything with it, as Skies will shut it down almost immediately. So just shy of 200 are Red Reserve. And now all of a sudden, with the TAC 5 being popped, Red Reserve really do want to push on in. The TAC 5, pardon me, the Tactical Mask will provide a little bit of peel away from that concussion that was thrown. And now Proto and the rest of the UYU squad need to find a way to get in here. But again, still a couple of players, at least until that class exchange. We're holding on to 200 HP. Nice shots there from Proto. Still needs to find a way to contest if at all possible. We'll try to turn the corner on, but won't be able to do it. And now it's up to Mayhem to open up the point with the War Machine. We'll kill 2. Will there be more to clean up? It looks like potentially just 1. It's just Scraps, but he's already bailed out. And it looks like Red Reserve, with that War Machine being in play, do not want to give any more kills the way of Mayhem. And it now will expire. UYU will clean up the scrap time, and it... Actually, they will not clean up the scrap time. A little bit hard to tell when the team that is white on their uniforms are capping, because it is just a white point when it's open in idle. Red Reserve now above 220. UYU starting to play a little bit more aggressive than I think they want. They don't have really time to go play for spawns. You have to play for the point. As Red Reserve are just 25 away, and with that grab slam creating a little bit extra space at 0, he found 3 kills near that initial opening spawn point. And now, again, you can't let this go for UYU. You have to contest that opening kill, and the Bands will do well. The cluster nade goes in to try to get some space on the window. Nova will take Joe down, and there are numbers here for UYU, so the retake looks to be potentially successful, and it will be. Thanks to Proto and Spoof, those Sogs coming in play very nicely. Skies will barely escape with his life. Sliding through was 1, and the other. 183 to 242. Just 8 seconds left, and now it comes down to the rotation. You can't give away too much scrap time if you're UYU. And Proto will hold on to the last seconds of the point. The rotation has already been made by the rest of the UYU squad. And Skies has pulled out an ICR. Wants to play this one a little bit more at range. Maybe he picked one up. Not 100% sure. He hasn't been using one for the entirety. UYU getting close to 200. But again, this is a tough task to order up. Playing very patiently, very wisely as well, getting a lot of trades. Point will not be in contest as Skies will come through and find himself 2 kills. Now all of a sudden, if UYU can find full time here, we could be looking at a very, very close game. Good aggressive play by Mayhem and Skies to open things up, and Nova still just being the hard point lockdown, but the point will be opened up now. Mayhem has to come back through, try to recontest. Fortunately, he had some help, but with 13 seconds left, you can't afford to rotate too early. One player will be scouted out. That's Vance, and he will be taken down. Will play it from Mayhem, and now we're at about 230. And really good timing on this rotate from UYU. Knowing that Red Reserve has already moved, but now it comes down to Skies. Some heroics have to be played as he does actually get himself a chain shock here. Looking really solid as Skies finding 2. That will open up this point. Notable, there is only 29 seconds until we will call this one quits as well by in-game timer, but 237 above 240 now for UYU. Red Reserve, you need to find a way to get back here because all of a sudden UYU's got 200 HP from the TAC 5. They're at 245, and Red Reserve need to find a way to move on in, but the concussion is good, and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch in time. 248, 249, and clearing the point is Spoof and Mayhem. They will come back, and UYU, playing a nearly perfect game near the end, finish this one out 250 to 246. Goodness gracious. Here's one of those clutch plays from Mayhem. He will unfortunately find a teammate, but he found 3 others, so we'll call it worth it. Wow, what a game that was. That'll be it for the first set here. Again, this is Red Reserve taking on UYU. Let's skip ahead, and I'll join you back here for game number 2 on Search and Destroy in just a moment. So here we are. Search and Destroy, and it will be on Hacienda with Red Reserve starting off on offense first. Tossing an early concussion just to get some information, and at least we'll find 1 from the TAC mask that was procced, and Mayhem and 0 will find the first 2 kills, so 4-on-4 scenario. Joe able to push on through and find a kill on the fences to Mayhem. Does he have information on where Proto was? He does, but that's not a fight that he'll normally win with the Sog. Looks like he does have the bomb as well. Nova peeking. Oh, he's an ICR, and he just absolutely slaughtered him. Now a 3-on-1. And the bomb down. Just up the Skies. Great shots there from Joe. Rated will be the first contest for Skies, and that will be the only contest for Skies. Because you will be taken down from that tin little barn. Distillery, I guess, if you will. And here's Nova with that ICR. I don't know if we'll catch the where he dies, but this is the angle he was holding. Yeah, just one kill here. Good tracking from Nova before eventually losing the long-range fight versus Asok. We won't talk about it. Little spritzer for the grass in front of us as Red Reserve will set up their defense. And interesting, Joe's setup, only using just the double stock. No quick draw or anything. Full play. UYU on offense. Oh, what a turnaround was that from Nova. Then can he find a third? Nova, my goodness. I did not have any inkling of an idea that he would be able to turn on the SMG player right next to him. Gets the beatdown. Then retransitions to long range. Really well played from Nova. UYU 5-1, and I don't see any situation where Zero tries to contest this. He might look for a kill, but at a certain point, yeah, I think you just swim outside the map. Not going to make a difference as Mayhem will find the long-range shots with the ICR, and let's watch this play from Nova. Goodness gracious, does he ever turn on these kids? Puh. And then the long range on the Bance as well. 7 HP. Incredible stuff from Nova. As UYU will tie it up 1-1. Both offenses looking pretty solid so far. Nova sitting at 4-1, most notably after that three-kill round, pardon me. But now Red Reserve's time to get aggressive. And it looks like they will send 3 towards B. Joe will go up towards the upper fireplace and look for maybe someone in the patio area. Proto will be the only player defensively for UYU, and looks like the bomb will be going down. Will Proto check? He will, and he actually will find a kill, so the bomb goes down. I'm sure the information was also gained that the bomb was being planted. Zero will pick it up, retrieve it, and send it down, so that will definitely give information on where the bomb is. But UYU, in this 4-on-4 situation, is all over the map. Most egregiously is Mayhem, who's now rotating in late, but Red Reserve is rotating and looking for trailers coming out of bomb site A. And the shots will connect from Nova. Bomb is actually being defused at the moment. Will there be enough help? And yes, Spoof will get the defuse, even though Red Reserve still had 2 players left. Jumped on it immediately and had the help from Skies to at least zone away some opponents. So UYU will actually go up 2-1. Here are some shots on the initial push that happened from Proto, and then, wow, long-range shots connecting pretty nicely into that office area, and then a little slow motion dramatics for that bomb plant. Well done. 2-1 scoreline, and now we'll get UYU on offense. Red Reserve will take their corner and look to set up their defense, and looks like they're going to send 4 towards A, or at least most of the forces towards A, and there has been a supply drop utilized for Joe on the side of, pardon me, not Joe, beg your pardon, on Nova, who I guess is very close to either score streaks, I imagine score streaks. Proto, an interesting call for him to go to the water as he's just got a SOG. He will get to the boathouse successfully, so now an opportunity to pinch this bomb site B, as actually one other player is coming with him. That's Mayhem. And do they have any idea? Yeah, Scraps heard something, but he's going to get taken down immediately. Did not expect 2 players to be there. Shots out from the office onto Proto. He'll swim back around and do a very nice breaststroke as he gets his way there. Nova has found another kill, so again, 6-1 and has to be very close to score streaks. Bomb will look to go down for Proto. And immediately taken down from the side stairs. Time started to tick away now, 23 seconds. Rated will try to contest, but there are 2 players there for UYU, and they'll find the trade. A 3-on-1 situation for Zero. And the bomb, he thought might be still at B, has rotated all the way through connector. And I believe Nova just saw him jump. Maybe Zero thought the same thing, so he will switch his angle up and head towards the fences. He sees Skies that long range. We'll check for Spoof. Wow. Good timing for Spoof. He can't wallbang that, unfortunately. That is Cinder Block. But now 3 players looking down. No! Nova actually gets taken down, so that's exactly the target you want for Zero. He had to have been at least 1 kill away from getting his score streaks. And not anymore. A very much so worth it trade. And a little bit of hipfire wallbang through the fence will help Skies in that exchange. But it's at a small cost. The round still will go the way of UYU, sitting now at a 3-1 scoreline. But Nova was so close to getting his streaks. Any assist, I'm sure, or just a bomb going off would have resulted in him, but regardless, that was the time passed. He will be the closest one to using a specialist. Looks like Red Reserve want to set up for B. They've got themselves a trophy system there. Will there be any information gained? As again, Proto's close. He'll peek the stairs. Not able to find the full kill, though. Looking for the headshots. Were 0, but able to get it. The trophy system will be taken down. Fortunately, 0 carries 2. So he will set it up, but UYU will find opening. First blood. Make that 2. As Skies was on a very long flank, but immediately traded away. So actually, there's a 3-on-1 right now. And Joe is that last player left alive. A very tall task. Spoof will get the early peek and find the opening shots, which will result in the kill. And very quickly after the defuse. Not a lot of time to play with as far as allowing his team to gain streaks up. Or at least the specialist charges up, so he'll just go ahead and defuse it. And if I'm not mistaken, it looked like 4 players for UYU were getting to that last tick on that hexagon for their specialist equipment. Here is this flank from Spoof. Very well timed. And the opening shots as well. Good awareness from Spoof. And so far, UYU's definitely looked like the stronger team rotation-wise when it comes to search and destroy. And it makes you wonder how much time they've put in, being this kind of middle-of-the-road North American team throughout a lot of the 2Ks that have happened so far. Have they just been kind of grinding the search and destroy ladders, you wonder? Looks like we'll get a full meet and greet over here at bomb site B. Joe will be the opening handshake onto Proto. So 5-on-4, and it looks like UYU will have 1 player sitting in the water. That's Mayhem, and immediately found by Rated. How did he ever find that with the Maddox? And UYU will be forced to back away a 4-on-3. Although Skies has found himself too, so all of a sudden a 3-on-3, and Skies with this ICR will just lock down the garage as the bomb from Spoof will rotate all the way over to A. A very quick on-the-nose rotation, though, for Red Reserve, as they will get the bomb down, but immediately taken out was one. Nova has to find his way sliding through, but won't be able to do it. So now it's just a 3-on-1. Scrap's starting to defuse the bomb, and I don't know if Skies is even going to get there in time. I don't think he will. And I think he kind of realizes that, as he did find himself, I believe, 2 kills in the exchange. So he'll just hold on to whatever points he accumulated there and try to build on that next round. Here were these shots from Skies. Oh, was it through the car? Oh my goodness. What a dirty peek. Peeking through the tinted windows like he's riding through the hood. I should never say those words again. I am far too suburban to say things like that. We will come in around 7 at a 4-2 scoreline, though, favoring UYU. Red Reserve getting a much-needed round. But again, the TAC 5 has been popped, and a couple of their specialists are ready for UYU. Meanwhile, it's just Zero, who could make a play with the grab slams. Joe will actually hit the TAC 5 for his team as well, so 200 HP for all 10 players on the field. Skies has opened up with the Tempest. Hipfire won't connect, though, as Joe is able to take him down, so immediately neutralized, and Rated has found another kill elsewhere. So we're looking at a 5-on-3 favoring Red Reserve, and this would be a very valuable round for them, having taken down the Tempest. And now Zero with another elimination on Nova, as the bomb looks to be heading over towards bomb site B. Proto will have something to say about this, though, has found himself too. Will drive for the water, and we'll get there. Meanwhile, Spoof from the opposite side pinched and found 1, so all of a sudden it is a 2-on-1. Proto with a very tall ass. He peeks it through, but oh, Scraps is, oh my goodness, that timing was almost terrible for Red Reserve. Fortunately, Scraps lingered a little bit longer. Maybe we'll see it here. Had to have been, right? Yeah, I don't think Spoof saw him as he rounded that corner sliding in. But how fortunate was that? If both players turn around and start to head up the stairs, that very well could have been a 4-round kill. And the clutch for, I believe that was Spoof. And it looks like this time through UYU. They do have a grab slam available. Nothing else. Concussion will be thrown out, and everyone will realize that this bomb site will likely be free, which it is. Long-range fights happening on the outside. Nova will win that against Rated. He did have a couple players in support as well, just in case. Sky's doing a very good job of locking down the flank against the Sog holding Joe. I believe that was right near the side door. Now Red Reserve, this elongated flank they're trying to pull from the fences in, will all of a sudden be a little mistimed. They will take 1 kill against Nova, but it's still a 4-on-3, and the bomb is down, so every second counts at this point. All 3 players will come in, and Zero with the grab slam will open the door. Oh my goodness, and find himself a third. One more player. Can he find the 4th? Not able to quite see it all the way through, but Skies is way too far out. He'll try to make a go of it, but Scrap's already on the bomb defusing. Red Reserve will come through with a huge play from Zero. Goodness, that's nice, so nice. We have to see it twice, and we will. Pops his head out, and immediately connects, and then turns the corner to find one more in the water. And just quite nearly made it a 4-piece. But not so lucky today. Still, regardless, a huge round for Red Reserve, as now it's all tied up at 4. And Zero with that play has improved to 9 and 7. One of our top 2 fraggers next to Sky, sitting at 7 and 4. Very nice stat lines for both of them, and now Red Reserve will head over towards the fence line. Spoof was low and tried to go prone, but Zero Spam was tracking him all the way through. Skies will at least find one more in return, so we're left with a 4-on-4, but Zero has got himself a very good angle at a number of players. Wow, good patience from Nova to peek that halfway through the clip that was being extended from Zero, and Joe with the bomb will just rotate back over to B. So it's a 3-on-3 situation with Red Reserve controlling all of this high ground rotation through the office and that patio. And it looks like Joe will start to make his way into water, which will provide him a little bit of a pinch. He's going all the way back towards spawn. This is a very long play, and Nova will have no idea that he's here, and Bance with another elimination will be able to find one. So a 2-on-1 situation with the bomb down. Skies has no idea which way to look. And that's become pretty clear as Rated from the office window will just peek his head out and see Skies lingering. And now Red Reserve with the potential to close this out and make it a 1-1 draw in maps. After what has been a very long coming comeback for them. Here on Search and Destroy specifically, I guess if you're going to do it to us on Hardpoint, we'll do it to you on Search and Destroy, right? UYU, though, will come in around 10 on offense. And again, the resupply being picked up, I'm not 100% sure what the teams have agreed upon as far as the GA of it. But it seems like so far, out of the games we've watched, the resupply will only be dropped when a player is near score streaks, which seems a little odd. But back into what's happening here. A 5-on-4 favoring Red Reserve, but the bomb has been planted, and there's a trophy system over here. War Machine will come out, and oh, Spoof with the easy telegraph grab slam will take away 2. And that will be necessary for the comeback 2-on-2 situation. But oh no, it's actually going to be the Tempest being popped. What was, I believe, from Scraps. And immediately deleted by Proto, so now it's just up to 0. A 1-on-1. And he's put himself on the bomb as he started defusing it. Not yet. Proto will peek it. And now it just comes down to time. Play the 8.5. Not going to make a difference. He gets the kill either way. And Zero just narrowly almost able to make a play, but now it's UYU. He's forcing it to round 11. And this timing from Spoof will shut down the War Machine. Clutch timing. So what is available for both sides? The answer? Not much. Proto's very close to his vision pulse. Will likely get it here in just a second. And Sky's also narrowly there to his Tempest. So if you look at this, you got to think this round should figure to go UYU's direction. They can find a way to get these streaks online. Raiden taking a lot of damage. Will actually just narrowly go prone and be able to sprint his way out. I don't know how he ever survived there. But now he's got an opportunity to watch UYU potentially rotate through. Joe on the opposite side of this little pinch. We'll take down Nova. It looks like Red Reserve will take that Q as a move. And wow, look at this. Straight on through the middle. And Raiden will get the bomb down at A. And they have numbers to Red Reserve. And Nova, being that first blood, leaves a pretty big hole for UYU. Mayhem also taken down. Vision Pulse paying dividends, and Skies unfortunately takes down Proto. He could have almost evened it up, but now all of a sudden, with the bomb being down, it's a 4-on-2. The Vision Pulse does expire. Skies will push. He used the Tempest. Spoof, not able to clean up. And Raiden will clean it up for Red Reserve. They'll take this map 6-5. And again, comeback fashion. We've seen this match go really either way. But it seems to be favoring the team that's behind. At least behind early. This last double kill from Raiden. Nicely done. So we will go into a map 3, drawn up 1-1. Essentially just a best of 3 from here on out. We'll see you on the other side in just a bit. And control will be played on frequency. And again, if you've been watching the other videos we've done, it appears as though on this first day, just about everything went the offense's way. Did that trophy system just bounce over the ledge? Not 100% sure, but Red Reserve will actually win out this first control point here at A, numbers-wise. Although I say that Skies is able to go back huge. Finding himself 2.5. And UYU will switch course, and they will try to hit B. Having found no success at A, Red Reserve quick on the rotate. Well played from Raiden to get up top, but Mayhem has found 2 over the middle as well. And now all of a sudden, Red Reserve have to dive on in to try to contest this, as it was getting close to being the first hit. Skies wanted to pre-fire the right-hand side, but only caught his teammates. So again, UYU just a little out of sorts early on in this control. Will have found 0 success. And now with only a minute left, you have to start making work at one point or the other. I don't think you can share the luxury of moving from side to side like they previously were attempting. Mayhem will come to clean up the lingering defender. Scraps on point B, so now all of a sudden progress is starting to be made here. Shoulder peeks being played from Skies, and Nova and Spoof also stacking on top of the point, and that's Proto over the middle, the #1 on your mini-maps, starting to make progress over at A, and Spoof will actually join them. So UYU with numbers will immediately send 2 players off to try to make progress at A, but in the meantime, Red Reserve is able to completely supplant the attackers at B, so only 2 ticks of progress have been made, which was close to being 3. It was a ballsy rotate, try to find huge progress on both at once, but it will be turned aside, and now Red Reserve in a position to possibly capitalize. 45 seconds left. They still have a full point A that has yet to be touched. Looks like they'll put more of their resources over by B, but now point A is starting to find some progress. Lives are close, 10-9. 0 is getting the call from the rest of his team that they're going to give it up, it looks like. Interesting call. And it looks like they just want to play lives. They're down 2, though, and all that is needed is 1 tick of progress here at B, and the rotation is not exactly timely. Fortunately, Raiden's able to take a couple over that blue platform area. Skies will eventually find 2 on his own, so we'll be left with the same marginal difference between lives. About 1 to 2 here and there, depending on what gunfights happen. And a lot of time for UYU to play around with. Scraps, though, able to at least even it up for a small amount of time. Mayhem from the backline will find 2, so now all of a sudden UYU, with a lot of time to play and now lives, Mayhem is in a really good spot to spawn camp just a tad bit. And now with only 2 players left, it will be a full flank coming from UYU. They'll pinch this together just to sit on point B, and if they even get there, Skies and Joe, the last 2 really up here, fighting with one another, and Skies will win it out. And UYU, with some interesting kind of dialogue between point A and point B, as far as how they're moving from one conversation to the next. I promise we'll get rid of the lingual references very quickly. I don't know where I was going with that analogy, but Just love it. Accept it. Very nice play here from Scraps to clear point. But the offensive look for UYU looking pretty solid. It's an interesting take. You know, they get the kills and they make the call to send 2 more to the opposite point when they have control of 1, and it didn't quite pan out in the mid game, but the result still would have been the same. Now Red Reserve pulling a lot towards point B. Mayhem will try to get a cluster off to slow down Red Reserve, but Zero will push forward to find the kill. And already 1 tick making progress. The second's starting to count up. And I don't know if UYU's going to have a chance to really contest this. Proto's over the middle very low, and he will be taken down. So now it's just long-range gunfights, and they will favor Red Reserve as Joe will get aggressive with the SOG. And Mayhem actually will trade away 1, but it's not going to make a difference. The point has been captured. They should be captured. And it will be. Now back over to A. Cluster nade comes out, but a trophy is there to accept that with loving arms. Doesn't make a difference for Bance, though. He finds the same tune out of the Maddox, and now all of a sudden, a 7-kill differential. And Bance on point is doing a really good job. And yeah, Red Reserve will be able to zone away UYU, so a very quick round for Red Reserve on offense there. Tying this ball game up 1-1, which will mimic the scoreline in our maps. In case for some reason you forgot. I don't know why I cast this like it's live, because it's not, and you have seen everything if you're watching this, I imagine. No need for the state of the game updates, I suppose, because there is no if you're just joining in. Because you either watched from the beginning or you didn't. Shower thoughts with IHOLDSHIFT. And now, UYU. Let's take a look to see if this offense decides to do something similar. It looks like at least 4 players will head towards B. And Nova will hold the cross from mid, and Red Reserve will throw a trophy system out and quickly realize there is nobody here at A, so they will rotate. And it's got to be on Nova to find an elimination somewhere, and he will not. So now, a 5-on-4 situation. If they can get in, or Red Reserve, they pop attack 5. They're going to contest this one with everything they can, but not fully committing. Now, finally, Banson Rated want to get involved. Scraps gave it a go and then immediately backed up. He's got himself a Tempest, and now a couple of staggered players for UYU trying to funnel into the point. There are 3 players here in white. 2 ticks of progress have been made, and Scraps is playing extremely patiently. I don't really know what he was waiting for. Maybe a cordial invitation on stationary. He will be taken down now. Mayhem, he's got the go call that there could be a potential contest this way, but he does find 2. Grappling in was Zero, who will force the control to go the opposite way. And wait a second. UYU didn't finish capture on B, so now all of a sudden, I didn't even realize they will finish capturing at A, which will leave 2 ticks open at B. A very quick rotation from UYU. I thought they already had the point, and I was about to say, why are we looking at B all of a sudden? But this will be the last set of engagements, as we are 2 life differential favoring UYU. They're all over the map at the moment. As you can see, Mayhem and Nova, 4 and 2 respectively on your UI on the left-hand side, are actually trying to push through. Maybe to find a pinch, maybe just trying to hope that UYU and the rest of the team can find a couple of picks and they can kind of farm out whoever gets staggered for a couple of live trades. But here comes Spoof coming in from up the top rope. Seal land in on Zero's face. Will not find much more besides that, though. The grapple grab slam combination only resulting in 1. Not really sure if you call that worth it. Mayhem will touch for a quick second, but that was literally it. Was just a quick second. Now Red Reserve have themselves in a pretty favorable spot over the middle. If Rated can win that gunfight versus Proto, which he will not, Zero will clean it up. They have a pretty favorable position over the middle, though, is what I was trying to say, which will pretty much force UYU either to break in all the way up top through the middle, which will give Red Reserve's defenders on point the information, or they'll be forced to go on the low ground, where they will be picked apart. And it looks like UYU is considering how they want to approach this. Zero look they want to use the grab slam, but will be taken down by UYU, and they will pop the attack 5, which will our team in white as well. They'll also, Skies will use the Tempest to try to break this one open, and that will be enough to successfully get them on point. Someone needs to touch a Red Reserve, and no one will likely be able to. UYU, off the backhand of the attack 5 and the Tempest, will clean up the rest and now give themselves match point. as we'll see Nova post sliding in, doing some work on the point. We'll just clean up too. That was that lingering play from Scraps that we were like, what are you doing? Just kind of sitting there, waiting for the telegraph to come through. Yeah, telegraph, you see? Now, which direction does Red Reserve choose to go? They're going to pull up the Tempest, and they are going to go towards capture point A. Spoof will find the first kill. They're not going to make a difference, though, because now the Tempest being fully utilized will take one lingering on the outside. Nova will find one more, but he again gets shocked and will be taken down. So now capture percentage starting to happen. Whoa. Nice little headshot going through, at least the headline of it. Looking for Skies. Not able to connect with it. Trophy system comes out. This Tempest looking to shut things down, but not able to find the second connection. Fortunately, Bance and Joe are there to finish off the last players that were coming in. But Proto somehow slips through the middle and finds himself a double. Commit that a triple. Is able to clean up the point. And now the progress has been halted on A, and Red Reserve will choose to go back over towards B to find some progress this way. They find a couple of opening kills, which will give them some pretty substantial coverage and progress towards that first tick. But Proto coming back in. We'll be able to take down 0. Long-range shots from Skies will connect for the headshot. And it looks like they are just shy, our Red Reserve, from finding that first tick on B. So that will be pushed away. And now we'll head back over towards A, which UYU, by the looks of it, will say just let them have it. We've got the live advantage. Let's just play this one here. The Vision Pulse also had been utilized by Proto, giving UYU a lot of information on the rotates over the middle, which is where those eliminations that you saw in the kill feed happen. Mayhem with 2 from the spawn. Again, getting some nice spawn kills here. Nova with some support as well, fighting 2 of his own. So now all of a sudden a 7 kill differential in lives. As this is going to be tough to break. Joe almost makes it a double. That would have been good for the effort. War Machine being used just to try to get out of spawn. Proto, though, will use a lightning strike, and he'll find 3. Now we're down to 16 on 3, and this one will surely go UYU's direction. The spawn camp is good. Drone Squad comes out, and that will be the subject of our final kill against 0. Very well handled defensively. For mostly Proto at the end there, my goodness, I want to see what his stat line looked like near the end. He was cleaning up. Here is those 3 kills on point, which, again, it was a 3-on-1 here. Just no one could track him down. He even gets a reload off. Vance not able to find the spray quite in time, and that was pretty influential in that final swing. UYU now goes up a map 2-1 after a 3-1 performance here on Control Frequency. I just want to see his damage numbers real quick. 42.5. Not bad. Not the top in the server. Mayhem coveted that spot, but regardless, the results still favor that team in white. UYU up 2-1 in maps. We'll be back with hardpoint number 2 in just a moment. And our second hardpoint will be played on Arsenal. We haven't seen Arsenal yet. It's the first time we've seen Arsenal hardpoint. At least on these replays so far. Again, the middle capture point, very 50-50 as Spoof will open things up with 1 kill, but Scraps with a double before he finally gets taken down. Numbers do favor Red Reserve on this opening pull, but Proto is in the window, and he will provide a lot of support from in there. Will jump out to try to put himself on point. The trophy system in play. We'll keep this at a stalemate for the moment. So UYU now with numbers will be able to move on through and give themselves control of the point. And control the scoreboard. Rated will recontest with an ICR. Nova has been scouted out by Joe and will be finding the trade in the window. And now Red Reserve flipping this one around, at least until Proto had at least something to say about it. But his sentence was cut off. As Red Reserve, with 10 seconds left, will likely get them the last bit of control point, is now looking to rotate back over towards this weapons bay. And this is big. This is where your AR player has to be really huge. And that's going to be on Rated, who we have respectively to find these long-range shots. And there's a couple that will lock in nicely, allowing his SMG player just to focus on anyone who jumps down. And Trophy System will assist. Yeah, really good control from Rated. Not quite able to find Skies, though. Would have been nice, regardless. Red Reserve looking strong on the second hard point as they nearly get to 40. Skies will just go prone underneath on top of the point, though, and Red Reserve have to contest this at some point, and they will. Bance will clean up Skies, as Scraps is doing a really good job of holding down that green head box. Nova will come from a mini flank, though, and find himself 2, which will turn things back in favor of UYU, but it's just scrap time at this point. The majority of the point controlled by Red Reserve. We'll give them, about a 30-point, 20-point lead as we go over to this statue hardpoint, which Red Reserve have set up and given themselves the spawns plus the early control. Zero playing a little more aggressively during close to those planters. Scraps trying to lock over the middle, but Mayhem somehow wins that gunfight at long range. A nice traction there from Bance on Nova, so Red Reserve do still have an opportunity to contest. Monster Nade comes out, will actually find a teammate. But at least Bance is able to do the job at hand, which was take Mayhem off the point. Red Reserve in the lead. Rated again, that AR player trying to lock down the spawns, but there was one player he could not see. That's Proto. Although Zero comes back to help out as the information was gained. Regardless, 78 up to above 80 now for Red Reserve, but UYU have set themselves up all around this battery. These gun placements for what will be the 4th hard point. And it just comes down to, can they accept this pinch properly? Bance will say, how about that? Nova not able to do anything. Cluster Nade comes out. Try to gain some space. But a nice little peek here from Bance. Not able to find the connections on the Skies, though. Which will, again, keep UYU, at least for the moment, close to being in control at this point. A little mini flank from Proto will come out as well, so the pinch is successful. They just need to take down Scraps. And Mayhem will push out to clean up the rest of the late staggered spawns that came up from Red Reserve on that side of the map. So now all of a sudden, they will spawn behind. And it looks like Nova is somewhat aware of this, but not realizing how close Red Reserve were. As Rated will find one. Now in contest is the point. Getting close to Specialist. Red Reserve will successfully break and get them to above 100. Plus a little bit more. Attack 5 used for UYU. Proto will unfortunately not live to see that. Red Reserve will do the same, but only 3 players living to see it. Now we're in this trophy, this conference room area. Apparently lounge, as it says very nicely, pointed to it, and Spoof will connect one shot and then find the bash pretty easily. Cluster Nade comes into the window, really well thrown actually, from long range, but won't find the connection on the player that he wanted. Good control from Spoof. He's got one more player closer, but Joe is finding a little bit of damage from another source, and that'll allow Spoof to jump out and find the kill. And now all of a sudden UYU getting close and could potentially push their score to above 100. If they stand on the point, which now they do. Meanwhile, Red Reserve are starting to get a little bit of control over this cafe area, which will set them up nicely for the next hard point. It's so hard to break into this neutral hard point after the first rotation, or after the rotation of hard points is done, simply because those double doors will telegraph any player that comes through. But UYU will do it successfully by sending some players, it looks like, through the vent, as well as one through the windows. So a little bit of a pinch on the point, and UYU all of a sudden will put themselves in their first lead of the game. Again, that's the trouble of these double doors. You're very openly telegraphed. Skies will be shot from behind on a couple of occasions. Red Reserve coming to the window will win control back, both of the hardpoint and the scoreboard as well. Lightning strike for Spoof, who had himself a pretty successful last life. A lot of equipment could be potentially used here. And at some point, maybe Red Reserve should consider using one just to help break in. But at this point, now it comes down to who can control, again, this weapons bay. Opening shots from Joe will be successful on Nova, although he was able to get a War Machine out. Mayhem, though, not really phased by much of that as he's able to take down one with the War Machine. Looking for more, though. Not able to find it as Rated is coming back along. And these last 2 players from UYU will have the favorable spawn. Can they make anything happen with it? Looks like the answer will be no, as Red Reserve will look to set themselves up. Zero will lead the way, but Mayhem wants to contest and will be able to do so with the UYU. The War Machine being used now from Vance, who will zone all of this back area away. He only finds one kill. Now potentially a grab slam coming into play, and it will drop down, but just out of reach was Zero. Made connection, but did not find as much success as he was obviously hoping for. Red Reserve now finding some stalwart defense on the second hard point and putting themselves in a very favorable spot. 160 and counting. They'll be above 170 if they find full time here. And it looks like there will be a couple of trailed rotates, and Vance was looking for a way to set up the spawns for him and his team, but not so fast, says Spoof and Mayhem, who are here to meet it very nicely, it turns out. And now UYU looking for full control of this third hard point. Would be nice. But Spoof has one more in contest. Joe is flanking all the way around. And wow, Zero as well. Red Reserve flooding on in, and this will force spawns. Actually not super far out for UYU. They only spawn by the conference room. So potential to contest, and Joe will clean up 2 before falling. Scraps will come and look to see if he can get a tune out of this trombone. And he actually already has himself built up a sniper's nest. On 6 kills this life. Of course, a couple of them being objective kills will help in his score total. UYU, though, will look to push in from long range. Tagging one more, but again, attack mask will help him. And, well, he had the right idea of someone coming out of the vent. And good help there from Joe. Red Reserve able to break successfully. And Scrap still has 2 streaks, and yeah, this is the perfect time to use a Hellstorm. Won't only find one, though. Proto has put himself in the window, and that was well found from Rated. The rest of Red Reserve will funnel in after that Hellstorm clears the space, and Red Reserve now above 215. And UYU struggling to break in, and they don't have any specialists to do it. I don't see an instance where Red Reserve dropped this one away. Zero taking 3 down, 2 by way of grab slam. It's still a lightning strike available for Scraps. And they can win off of this point, so UYU needs to make something happen. Nova will be able to get his way through the window, but Rated is holding the angle, and Scraps the lightning strike will take down 2. And I think that's just about all they wrote. UYU spawned out, and they have a long way to go. And Vance, Joe, and all of them will hold down that ladder, and it will be Red Reserve sending us to Game 5, 250 to 149, 100-point club in effect for Red Reserve this time. And again, this has been a very close matchup versus 2 teams that we had very opposite expectations for. Again, at this point, Red Reserve had not won a game, which is not at all what anyone expected. This was, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the 3rd and final match of the day in their pool play. UYU, meanwhile, and as we talked about before, was sitting also 0-2, so both teams needing this for their first win in pools. There's the scoreboards as you see them. We'll fast forward, and we'll see you in Game 5 in just a sec. So here we are, map number 5. We'll be playing on Gridlock. UYU will be playing offense. Red Reserve will look to set up their defense. Looks like it will be an A hit. The UYU. I guess they're looking for a defender to push through, but they only partially commit. And now Red Reserve have completely set themselves up on defense. Scraps will find the opening blood. Rated with the ICR will take down 2 as he's able to trade away the last shots against Nova at very low HP. And now all of a sudden, what looked to be a very cheeky opening will result in a 2-on-5 bomb down in A, and Red Reserve are all over it. And that looks like they know that they're there. Skies will be taken down by Zero. Mayhem looking to challenge the 1v1. We'll find the beatdown. He only needs to do that 4 more times. I can't imagine a world where Red Reserve will give him the opportunity to do so. Vance will peek and get the information that Mayhem has moved through that highway area over towards this little pagoda. We'll find Vance, though, hiding in a corner. Still needs 3. We'll take a nice shoulder peek, but Rated was hard scoping it. And we'll take the last elimination and the round for Red Reserve. A very interesting opening, though, for UYU. You have to imagine they were just all waiting to see if they would find a member from Red Reserve to push through from what would be a quote-unquote, I guess, no one is here at B. Let's push through and see if we can catch a rotate, but not the case. And now Red Reserve will set up their offense. Bance again, designated bomb carrier. We'll look over the middle, and if he stays a little bit longer, we'll see sights on at least maybe one. Proto will peek. Looks like they saw each other and just backed up. Meanwhile, shots were exchanged over by B. And two players from Red Reserve have pushed into that T shop. Bance will make his way through Sushi towards the bomb site, although he's a little nervous that someone could be coming from behind. The closest player would be Nova, and he's holding a very hard angle. And it looks like Red Reserve wanted to just back on out. Looks like it was a fake commit towards B. Proto will sniff things out and actually find himself a kill, so this will actually tip UYU off. And now all of a sudden, Red Reserve in a little bit of trouble. A 4-on-2 situation. Zero will even up one, but he's low and will be traded away by Proto, who found himself two. And Sky is coming in from the backside. We'll take down Bance to even this thing up at one. A very interesting play from Red Reserve, and again, the timing was just unfortunate. Sitting in the middle was one player from UYU and sniffed out all of that rotation coming away from B back over to A, and allows UYU to rotate, and it caught Red Reserve pretty much by the seat of their pants, walking toe and heel with them. So now round 3. 1-1 the score. Rated and Proto on opposite teams sharing the same score line at 3-1. And it doesn't look like the kill streak counter on the UI continues from round to round, which I wish it did. Proto will try to sniff things out with the concussion, then push the right-hand side. He sees one player prone. And will reconsider. There is a player sitting in yellow in this ice cream shop. Pushing in together is Mayhem and Proto. They'll just trade away lives. But it clears the space, which was what was needed. And actually, now they want to push forward and push through if possible. Proto will see one player up top. Not able to lock down the shots, though. It would have been ambitious, to say the least. Bomb will be planted, but Proto will be shot at. I don't know. Looked like it was through a wall. I don't think it was from the ice cream shop there, Proto. I think he's a little bit lost on where those shots came from. Now will he hit the full rotate? Rated is up top in the windows. Taking shots at distance against Nova. But yeah, it's Proto and a couple other players from UYU will just make the full rotate. They'll get the bomb down. It's a 3-on-2 after a couple trades come through for Red Reserve. It was an even game sitting at 3-3 up until those kills obviously happened. And now the bomb is down, and it looks like Spoof and Proto will try to play Red Reserve spawn side. I don't really know what the call it is for this area that they were in. And Proto will actually full flank. They want to pinch this. It's an ambitious call, and now with Spoof down, and Proto also being traded away actually by Zero in the same lifespan, it will just be an easy defuse. And it was a ballsy call to try to go for the pinch, being down a player, but it was met with nothing but animosity from Red Reserve, who will give themselves another round, putting themselves up 2-1. Here is Scraps, finding himself 2 from the backside. And the bomb defuse in cinematic fashion. How dramatic. And UYU just, in general, seem to enjoy playing off the flank so far. Looks like Nova will actually utilize the resupply. I guess it's kind of hard to tell if both teams are utilizing... we'll talk about that later with the resupply drops. I guess it does show up on the mini-map, though. I don't know. A very patient opening to this round as we're already approaching the 60-second mark. First blood will finally come out for UYU. Rated will not be taken down by Nova. We have the early picks, and finally able to take him down. One shot each for both those players. Zero will see one player a little bit further off. 4-on-2 scenario for defenders. Scraps and Zero look to make some magic happen. It would be nice to send this 3-1 in the scorers, but let's say not likely. Looks like they will get the bomb down at A, though, without contest. But UYU appears to be happy to rotate mostly together. Nova will check things out very quickly and will actually find the opening kill. So now 1-on-4. And Scraps is going to have to deal with a lot at once. Sliding in was Proto. And that's all that's needed for UYU to tie this one up. They will let this bomb tick for a little bit longer by the looks of it, as they do have 4 players alive, and they want to try to charge up those specialists as much as possible. That's not very nice. And Proto will be given the defuse. Not quite close to score streaks, but that'll help. He is 6-2 after all. Feeling confident. With the best KD, as he should be feeling confident. And we're back knotted up at 2. So reset this one, and it, again, comes down to who can hit 6 first, but if you take a look at the specialists, nothing quite close yet. We're getting there, but not quite yet. Scraps is a couple eliminations off of his Tempest. Similarly so is Skies, maybe a little bit further behind. Nova also very close to the TAC 5 as well. As UYU will spread themselves out looking for picks. This is the in comms, all right, just play for picks. That's the call right there, most likely. Now recollecting themselves, and it looks like they want to move towards A. There are 3 players from Red Reserve here. Comes out to assist. And Red Reserve will put up very little resistance, as it's just Bans who will be pushed into. So now a 4-on-1 after the opening 3 kills had been found pretty quickly from UYU, which will again help them in their goal of getting specialists online. Zero will find 1 kill. He's got to make a lot to happen here, though. Concussion will come out. He will be stunned and easily taken down by Proto. Better to play it safe. And UYU will get themselves the bonus points for the plant. And, of course, the point of the scoreboard. 3-2 we go. Wow. Opening play from Mayhem, my goodness. And he finds the last handful of shots there to find himself a 2-piece. And I believe he survived the round as well. But Proto, again, the big winner here, as he's sitting at 7-2. Joe has yet to get a kill, sitting at 0-4. You don't love to see that. And yeah, Vision Pulse very close. And Nova's going to be sniping, finds the opening pick on Scraps over at bomb site B. Joe finally getting on the board, say his name, and he will come knocking. 4-4. The numbers into this round 6. And it looks like Red Reserve will try to attack towards A. UYU playing a lot over the middle and B. Likely going to have to, considering that Nova does have scope in hand. Shots coming from the connector. We'll tip rated off that there could be a flank coming. And again, UYU, it's been very high pressure on the flanks. They will try to pinch this. Bomb planted. Cluster comes out. Concussion as well. We'll actually connect onto Joe. A second one will come through and also land on him for a short amount of time, but he does have attack mask. So he'll stay alive. Mayhem from behind, though. Able to find himself, too. Joe just by himself. And, well, won't have enough in the tank to get through the last 3 players. And the flank of the pinch was very successful from UYU. Tried Red Reserve up in a little bit of a clamshell there. And they'll take a 2-round lead. And it looks like Spoof has got himself a Grand Slam. I believe who I saw playing Ruin. Yes, it was. Here is that pinch coming into play. Good info shared by the team, allowing that 2-piece to exist. And now we go into UYU looking to potentially put this one a little bit more out of reach. They've got 3 specialists to use. Nix that, just 2 as the TAC 5 comes out. Proto, again, very close to a Vision Pulse. Meanwhile, Red Reserve still a bit off. Zero's the closest to a grab slam. But you've got full 200 HP on the whole team, so you might as well all push through together. Red Reserve, again, looking to set this up defensively. We'll actually pull a pretty hefty flank here as Joe takes down Nova. And UYU has to turn around for this. And will they be able to accept it? Looks like, yes, Skies will take down 2 in the exchange. One more coming out of the back of the food truck. That was rated, taken down immediately. And Vision Pulse is ready for Proto. I cannot see a situation where he uses it here, though. Although, it is a 2-on-1. Zero, last player left alive. Needs to make some magic happen. And Proto will back up with Skies. Zero knows he has to push this. And there's no way he wins that fight versus 2 Sogs. So now on match point. 5-2. This would be the comeback of the century if it were to occur for Red Reserve. But hey, they've done it before on Search and Destroy. Would love to tip into that magic and make it happen again. But how deep does that oil rig drill? There be gold in them hills. I don't know. I'm just saying banter right now. Skies doesn't have himself a lightning strike, 65 away from the Hellstorm. He could potentially pop it for the info, but he also has a Tempest. You'll see one player cross. Not able to be accepted by his teammates who are holding that angle. Grab Slam comes in, and Zero's actually able to shut down Nova, who had the Tempest in hand. So now all of a sudden, Red Reserve looked like they're in a position to potentially take this round. 5-3. Spoof with the lightning strike, and they actually will pop Vision Pulse here. Proto, though, taken down to a 5-on-2. Trade that 3-on-1, and Rated in Zero will finish off the last 2 kills. Putting Red Reserve in this, and oh, look at this, all of a sudden, Tempest was wasted there. Vision Pulse as well. All for what was the use of just a grab slam. So Red Reserve have the opportunity to potentially come back if they can get some specialists online and make some plays happen. But it is a long journey still. Clutch slow motion reload. Yeah, Scrap's very close to having his Tempest. Joe as well to the attack 5, but you're looking at 2 score streaks for Skies and Spoof. I believe those are both lightning strikes. So how do you play this if you're Red Reserve and you realize that your entire team could get pinned out? And if, goodness, if one of them use it right now, they would probably get 3, as there were 3 players. Red Reserve coming over the middle right where it is open. Bomb is in hand for Proto, looking for a way to move. Oh, looks like he wanted, I don't even know where he was going, to be honest. Spoof up close will find himself 2. Mayhem also trying to peek an early corner on that ice cream shop. But the bomb will be able to get picked back up by Skies. Mayhem does have a War Machine now. Spoof as well with the grab slam. And Scrap's not quite there to having his Tempest. I don't know how much more time they can wait before the engagement has to occur. And yeah, UYU has pushed completely up. They have this entire left-hand side street, at least prospectively for Red Reserve, in their control. And it looks like Red Reserve will check A, see it's not there, then immediately come back towards B. And goodness, bomb will be planted. War Machine being used. Mayhem will find Zero and Scraps, and that will likely tell the tale right there. 3-on-1 situation. Spoof holding on the flank, but it's up to Rated. And he's going to be playing from the backside of T-Shop. He's got a bomb to defuse and a lot of distance to cover. And the lightning strike comes out. And that will be all that is said as Nova's able to finish things off and get the final elimination. A 6-3 scoreline. UYU will not be the team to go winless in the pool as they defeat Red Reserve at a map total of 3-2. Red Reserve desperately need to find a way to get back into this tournament. And again, if you paid attention, you know how that went. So again, there it is. UYU will walk away with the victory. Red Reserve will walk away with absolutely nothing. They would go up against the open bracket team in the day following, and I think most of those games were actually casted on the main stream. Don't quote me on that. I don't actually know. No, they weren't. It would be Heretics that came into that pool as well, so it was very interesting to see how the Spanish team, who looked really good online, would potentially fare. We've got a couple of those games lined up, so Make sure you come back, check those out. There are a couple other videos and replays also in here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of the love and support as usual. Just trying to do our thing, you know, get a little bit more practice casting Call of Duty and hopefully bring some more extra content out for you guys who want to see these matches. So if you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe and like and get that little bell ringing if you want to get some notifications when our uploads do go live. And until next time, hope that you own the down. Later, bye-bye.